make sure. I just make sure he never wins. Nice. Nice.
20% of voters will snack on the points. Okay. All right. We'll see. Kex is excited about that. Someone wanted you to say something. Can you give us your professional psychological opinion about Filthy? Yeah.
We don't have enough time.
And you don't have you don't have professional psychological opinions about people. That's not what your job is.
Yeah.
You think you're a clinical psychologist?
I'm not a clinical psychologist. But I can still have a psychological opinion about you.
I don't think so.
You're saying I'm not qualified to.
That's right. That's not been the training. You're not qualified to assess my mental health. You? No. What do you think you are?
Because I don't have a license.
You don't have a background.
I don't have a license to practice clinical psychology.
Correct.
Fine.
That's fair, right?
But I am very well aware of different psychological disorders and psychological phenomena.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you just can't apply any of them to me. Problem solved. All right. Okay.
That works the other way too.
E-King, right? Thanks for the resub. All right, let's move through. We call her something like polished robot. No. Can you evaluate pro streamer? Okay. Can you evaluate pro streamer and getting angry when someone stole his banana tile? Why don't I want any kids? I just don't really want any children.
No. I wanted to go deeper than that.
You do?
Yeah.
We're behind on chat though. We can come back to it in a minute. Let's catch up, and then we'll come back to it. Put a finger out. You can be like point. And we'll come back to it.
All right.
Okay. Am I trying to mess with the results? Real question: dogs versus cats as pets go. Trade-off, right? Cats less work, dogs more emotionally impactful.
But both of us are not quite able to answer this question because you grew up with cats. I grew up with dogs.
Yes,
so I feel like
dogs are a totally unknown entity to me. When will I encounter one? What will they be like?
No, but we don't.
I'm just saying, like, am I being?
You're being snarky.
Snarky, me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Okay. Let's see. What is the focus of Frigg's continued research? How's publication and tenure going? Yeah.
I would say relationships is still. I'm still researching relationships and sexuality.
How's that going?
Pretty good.
And have I passed?
Publication and tenure. Well, I've switched jobs, so I would say that and COVID is being difficult to collect data and do research
because so many of your students are still alive.
Maybe.
Oh, you want me to be more serious?
Yeah, I want you to be more serious.
Fuck. All right, fine. All right.
We can't have
Nobu
like
says
a
she's
genuine AMA.
Nobu says she's a 3 as a wife. You didn't have to share that, Nobu. Okay. All right. You need life advice? I have life advice, Victor. I can't give it to you, but for a small donation. Okay.
Well, it's like the peanuts. It's like 5 cents.
There you go.
Peanuts. Yeah.
Matt the Spoiled Brat. Okay, I'll shoot my shot. I became a dev for a mod that takes Crusader Kings 3 into the Vampire the Masquerade universe. Can you imagine yourself streaming something like that? Sure. I won't promise to do that. I want to look at it first and see what the balance mods of that is. But I mean, CK3 is a storytelling game with a really nice, with a fairly fun like system behind it. So changing the story should actually be doable with a game like that, right? Because the system is still, here's the system of the game you're playing, but it's kind of like, how do the interpersonal relationships change based on that? That would work. I don't know that I have any desire to play that. I mean, it's not that I don't want to play it, it's just I don't have any particular desire to play it. So it'd be the same issue of playing CK3 right now, which is a cool game, but not something I particularly went out of my way to play. I hope this isn't a sore spot, but is Frigg ever going to bring Filthy Robot coffee, like ever again? Yeah. How come you never bring me coffee anymore?
I brought you coffee this morning.
Did you?
Yeah.
It was late. All right.
The question should be, when are you going to bring me coffee?
I bring you coffee all the time.
No.
Okay. It's not me and my wife's. But me.
What did you tell me the other day? The only time you bring me coffee is when I clean out the coffee machine the night before. That's the only.
It's the only time you get coffee in bed.
That's the only
is
time
when I
get
stumble
coffee.
downstairs and the coffee machine's working, and then you can have some. All right, Professor Pronomonia says, that's not me my partner strategy when we play games. Generally, everyone gangs up on me because if he's in the game, he'll win. Then my partner wins because she's following the same strategy, but is better with people. Nobody's noticed yet. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely social elements to games. And it can be fun, but then it can be really annoying sometimes.
But you have that, like, everybody knows you're a big game. You do win, you typically win, and so it is like a thing where, you know, we'll play games and everyone starts, and it's like you're the common enemy.
I am the common enemy of most of humanity, I believe. Has its ups and its downs. Scott says, my wife is extremely competitive by nature. It carries into board games. When I started teaching her complex strategy games, I babied her a little and handicapped myself. First game I tried her, I got slammed. Tried once more, same result. Quit handicapping after that. That's nice. Filthy's below average today. Well, Filthy thinks, Filthy's a lot like Filthy's like a lot of us. He's only an 8 on a good day.
Yeah.
He's a solid 9 today, Fleet says. Look, Fleet's on my side. All right. Probably because if I'm a 9, that makes Fleet a 10 and his wife's watching.
But you have to have some room to like
to grow.
No,
that's right. You're only at 7 because I'm trying to keep the room open.
Your
for you to
average day in like life is not a 10 out of 10.
Oh, you're saying I'm an average 8?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
nice.
what, did you not hear? You weren't listening. Now you weren't even listening.
Oh, did I go down to 7?
You were 7 today.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can you explain how Filthy streams cured my insomnia?
It's his amazingly deep voice that just lulls you into sleep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to have Frigg's assessment of the Fiber Filthy saga. I can imagine living Filthy was less pleasant those days.
When he would call, he'd be like, I'm going to call my dad. I'd be like, oh, thank God. Someone else can hear about it for a little bit. I'd be like, I'm going to call my brother. I'm like, oh, yes.
Would you say that ate some small portion of my off-stream time?
A lot of your offs. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. That was disastrous. I almost cried when we got Fiber and it was working.
Because of how relieved you were?
Just like one sad little tear.
You had tears of relief?
It was tears of relief.
Yeah.
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 Nobu says her husband says a 3 is too high for her. I mean, it's fitting. Victor says, I just graduated and make 180 to 200K. Should I stay home or move out? There's a girl I like that I want to live with. Am I crazy? You are crazy. All right. Let's see.
Why are you not taking any questions?
You can't take Victor's comments seriously because he's only ever posted troll comments for the last
that's true. I
5 years.
I don't know who anybody is on channel.
Right. So if it wasn't Victor, we'd certainly take that a little bit more seriously. But it is.
I like this.
See ya, Captain Waffer.
The make Filthy go get coffee for Frig.
There's a button. Yeah. I hope that 2020 will bring us more joy. Yeah, me too, man. Filthy pick. Oh, we have this pick is still here.
What?
This one is still there.
Aww.
Back when I used to enjoy leaving the house.
That was your brother's wedding.
I know, it was my brother's wedding. It was a nice photo.
It was a nice one.
What game do you never want Filthy to play again because it was such a salt fest after it was done streaming?
Well, that would require that I remember the names of all the games that you play.
I only played 65 this year. You don't remember them all? What kind of wife are you? 2? Is it an average 2?
No, I think the word I notice it's like this with you, and so I can start to see when you're like.
And what is up here? This is
what I'm gonna call tanking. I can see you tanking.
Okay.
Yeah, from a game, and that's when you get salty, or that's when you get kind of like down. Like it's just you're not like happy and not satisfied, and so I'm like, all right, we're going into the valley. It's probably time. It's close to switching games. It's just it's just that cycle.
Where is the valley located? What state? Is it Iowa? Is the valley in Iowa? Be honest. Next question. How many siblings?
I'm gonna strangle you right now.
You're not allowed to strangle me. It's against Twitch TOS.
Okay.
You'll get me banned if you strangle me.
Put the camera off for a second.
How many siblings do you two have? You have 2. I have 1.
What?
Siblings.
I don't know. Okay.
You have 2. I have 1.
All right. Yes.
You can't argue with that. It's a fact. You can't game that for chat.
I thought you said 1. Never mind.
Can we get a how does Frig feel about the Bike Thieves saga?
The Bike Thief saga?
Mm-hmm.
I felt terrible. That was really bad. That sucked.
Yeah. I'm happy to give you advice, Victor, if you're not fucking crazy. You're not being a total troll, but you're always a total troll. So it's impossible for you not to be a total troll, right?
I like how other people are like...
Yeah. Does Frig prefer deeper strategy games or more social board games like Codenames and Mafia clones? Yeah, what do you prefer? She prefers to be left alone and watch television on the couch.
I guess I do like to do things when I'm out with people, and so a social board game is kind of fun. Can be fun. I'd much rather have like a deeper conversation. So I just
Yeah, but the social board games don't inspire deeper conversations.
no, they don't.
They're very surface level and they take attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if it's people that I'm hanging out with that I don't really know how to talk to, or they just want to have like a light, easy night, then I'm like, oh, okay, a board game like that, it's a good thing to do. But my preferred way to hang out with people socially is having really good conversations and getting to know them, and on kind of just on a deeper level. So
Filthy's not good at tanking. He needs to be either DPS or buffing. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot.
I think I'm a DPS role mostly. Yep.
What does that mean?
DPS is damage per second. Buffing is he means support, like a support role. So the if you think of like the triumvirate of like classical RPGs is a tank, a support or healer, and then the DPS. So you have the tank who absorbs the damage.
Okay.
So he's making a pun off your tanking.
Got it. What am I?
What are you?
What's my normal mode?
Support. You play a good healer.
Okay.
Do you consider some things you do at work or games? Frig, do you consider some things you do at work as games or comparable to them? Your student's future is a game too, right?
It could maybe putting together a really good class is kind of a game. Like as a strategy to putting together a really good class, a strategy to getting people to pay attention and stay engaged. That's a bit of a game.
Yeah. Do you have like fail rates and stuff? Do you have to be like 90% and then not pass
Usually when they're totally disengaged, usually they get enough.
Okay.
So.
How many subs for Mrs. Robot, which I guess you technically are now, to play Civilization 5 on stream? A few. Probably 2 or 3. Don't remember this one. Which is Frig's favorite cocktail? Why am I getting text?
My favorite cocktail.
Is that mine or your phone?
Where's your phone?
I don't know. I need to get another beer and then pee. So.
What did you finish your G&T? You haven't even.
My G&T. I forgot about that.
I made you a G&T.
Oh, I'm getting group text message from your family. I thought maybe it was my brother.
Oh, is it a New Year's thing?
I don't know. It's deleted.
My favorite cocktail. It's probably that grapefruit basil drink. That's probably my favorite one.
Do you think that?
Yeah, it is. What do you think?
I was gonna go through a few, but you made me
I
blank.
like how you argue with my favorite thing.
Well, I was just thinking that there's other ones you seem to enjoy more than that. Like you do enjoy that one. I think you do. I think you enjoy a lot of the. Actually, Sweet and I were talking about cucumber vodka stuff. I think you do a lot of the botanical stuff that you enjoy.
Yeah.
So you like the light kind of summery drinks, which are often cucumber vodka with something else kind of deal, or a botanical
lemon,
gin with a lemon. Yeah,
that's true.
Yep. Got to break curfew for a second. Midnight's approaching. Is Frig biding her time until we let her go and watch more Bridgerton? I told him we were watching it.
I am watching. Oh, okay. You told him I was watching Bridgerton.
Well, she suggested it.
I have 45 minutes left
of the last episode.
The last episode.
So chat, it will be a late stream because if I let her do that, I'll never see her again. There's a lot of sex in that show though, Nubu. So it has that going for it. Since Frig watches so much TV, can we get some show recommendations? Yeah, probably, because I don't fucking know show recommendations. I was trying to give him my top couple of this year, and all I could come up with was Queen's Gambit, and that I didn't like Raised with Wolves.
You didn't like Raised with Wolves?
Started good, but was terrible by the end.
Did you like Lovecraft Country?
No.
What else did we watch this year?
Yeah, that's what I ran into.
You watched Great British Baking Show with me.
That's true.
That's like, sorry, was that okay that I just shared with?
What is the point of asking me after? What if it wasn't?
I don't know.
What would I do at that point?
I don't know.
How would I best react?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
You have to ask either before.
Maybe he wouldn't want. I didn't think it would be a big deal, but sometimes
it's a little wholesome for me, that show. But other than that, I like it. Is Filthy the more attractive brother? You want to ask the woman who married him? It's an awkward question.
It is an awkward
question. Frig tried D&D? She's played. She hasn't. Did you play D&D ever? You played D&D once.
I did.
Yeah, at Kevin and Katie's.
Okay, but what was the other?
You played Dark Heresy.
Yeah.
For a while, so she's played a pen and paper RPG. Any
like
book recs from this year from you? Any book recs from you?
I have not read a novel this year. I haven't.
Can you only recommend novels? Can you recommend non-novels? It's okay if you say no. Good.
I don't have any book recommendations off the top of my head. You're right.
there a lot of gin in that?
Yes.
All right.
I told you I made your dad one too, and I was like, I hope you like this. It's been a minute since I've made a mixed drink.
Yeah.
But I make.
There's only 2 ingredients in this one. 3, I guess.
No, 3, right.
Did you put lemon in?
I did.
Oh, there's a lemon in there. Did you squeeze it or just drop like a dead lemon in?
I squeezed it.
Yeah. Not sure about this. This is a dead lemon floating in my gin.
Do I need to go put a little bit more tonic water in
No, I don't want to see straight for the rest of the night. All right. Please say to Filthy to play more Battle Brothers. Okay. Don't see drinks going. Taking some New Year's resolution. No, I have no New Year's resolutions around alcohol. Okay. Catch up. Drinks and beers having their wings. Hashtag never forget. I never forgive. Yeah. Filthy 5. Yep. Okay, I want to catch up to chat because I want to actually interact.
Right.
Okay. British shows are so much nicer with the lack of drama and with the lack of drama and overproduction. Oh, we're caught up. Nice.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, it is nice. I like the cooperative element of that show, which is a nice change from like Top Chef, right? Where they're kind of cooperative but mostly competitive. And it's a nice change from time to time. 2-minute warning from the Netherlands. Cheers.
Oh.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
I think I told you my wife. Oh yeah, that's right. Floridora. I still haven't had one of those yet, Fleet.
I haven't either.
But good with gin, good with cucumber vodka. 1.5 gin, 0.75 raspberry liqueur, 0.5 lime, and top of ginger ale. Sounds really good.
It sounds very good.
Yeah, we'll have to try that. All right, we're caught up. Chat. Happy New Year's to you, Ravon.
Okay.
All right, I need to pee. Can you handle chat for a few moments?
Yeah.
No,
I never like it when you leave me alone.
Yeah, here's the trick. Okay, if you're not sure, if you get into trouble, just yell out what you were thinking about maybe not saying as loudly as possible, followed by, "Is it okay if I say something about it?" If you get there, you're probably fine. Nothing could go wrong from there.
I don't like it when you leave me alone.
I know. Let's take. So we have a command for you, Brig, which is here.
What is it?
All right, that's your command. Do you see what it says on the end?
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Nobu. All right, I'm gonna pee and back in a second.
Okay.
All right, don't break chat.
Okay.
They're fragile, and you have to help them.
Go ask your parents if they'll come on stream.
And don't respond to Victor. He's a troll.
All right.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay, bye.
Your chair is very small.
It is very small. Wait, I'll sit in your chair.
Or maybe you're small as well. All right, back in a second.
Look, now I'm your height.
No, you're not.
It's about a foot short. All right, what am I gonna do? No, I haven't seen any of my quotes. What quotes do I have on stream? I did steal his chair. I'm gonna make him sit in the shorter chair. Tell us the secrets. Wow, it's going fast. Hang on. I don't even know how to use his mouse. I really don't know how to, okay. That's not what I want. This is so strange. This is so interesting too, because I'm used to talking to a camera for teaching this past like 9 months, but this is weird. What do I think of Filthy's white t-shirt streams? I don't know, it's just what he wears. He's a man of simple tastes. Quick psychoanalysis of Filthy Robot. Uh-oh. What?
Personal prediction?
Personal prediction.
My dad says no, my mother says yes.
Your mom said yes?
No, I'm going to ask right now. It's a personal prediction.
That's your personal prediction? I would say the opposite. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Starts with God. Can you write it out phonetically? Xanadu, Penelope. Oh, what is the character that Penelope plays? That actress. She was in Derby Girls. I don't know, Xanadu, if you watch Derby Girls, but I found that very enjoyable.
Oh, it turns out someone knows their parents better than
you. You knew your parents.
Dad was a solid no, mother was a solid yes.
Really? Mm-hmm. You were right?
Of course I was right. What do you mean, was I right?
No, I stole your chair. You can have it back.
Oh, I have to sit in the baby chair now?
You have to sit in the baby chair.
Is this a power play? I'll say hello.
Oh, you're gonna come say hi. All right.
All right, you have your okay.
Yeah.
You're in my camera now.
Here you go. Here you go.
No,
Here's
no.
this.
So that's
Hi everyone, and
What's your number one regret in life?
having you probably.
Yeah, that's a given, right?
That is yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, happy New Year, everybody, and I hope 2021 is a lot better than 2020.
There you go.
And this is a gin and tonic.
Yes, the best thing.
Is your mom coming next?
I don't know.
Aw.
Hope not.
Thanks, Colin.
Never again. Thanks, Dad.
That was really sweet.
Well, he said no and then came over, so I assume the alcohol's working its way.
So, who's gonna be right then if your mom doesn't come over?
Well, I nailed the predictions 100%. He just immediately reversed his decision. So it's not my fault. He wants to flip-flop. All right, where are we at?
I don't know.
You're not even scrolling? What have you been doing here?
There was a lot of chat that came up very quickly, and so I had to scroll up.
Does he wash at least once a week?
Felix, teaching into a camera is super uncomfortable. It is. So when I'm teaching, I try to actually look at the camera like this the whole time to help people stay engaged, but it's a very different thing than if I'm like looking at chat the whole time. What courses have I been teaching? I taught 3 sections of intro psych this fall and then a testing and measurement class. You missed one.
Did I?
I tried to ask him to spell that one phonetically.
Ravon?
Yeah. Apparently you're saying it wrong.
Maybe he's saying it wrong.
Yeah, okay, should I go try to go get your mom?
Do we have to? Alright, let's see.
I'm gonna go get her.
Oh well, filthy dad. There we go. Give me those points. Harsh, roasted.
Also, Channel, did you notice that he's just as snarky? You wonder where he gets it?
Alright, Happy New Year's to everybody. I see showing up. Yes, get the chair back. Oh, I'm like twice as done. You gonna say hi to my stream, mother? Ah, what a disaster. Alright. Okay, the camera's here. Do you have to look at that? No, you're not in it yet. You can see yourself there. A little closer. I don't know if you meant to wear the hat or if that's just what you wear these days. You're still not over. A little closer. I know.
Hello, everyone.
I know.
Happy New Year.
All right.
Love you.
How do you feel about me streaming for a profession?
Oh, I think it's the best.
And how did you
I'm
feel
so
initially?
proud of you. I was scared for you.
Okay. All right, Mom.
Okay.
Thanks.
Love you.
That wasn't that bad. There's only 450 people.
Is that all?
Yeah. I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day I'll be a big streamer.
Aw, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, Mom. My dad sounded English to me. My dad is English. All right. Thanks, Mom. Okay. All right, there you go, chat. You got your demand. I don't know why. Okay. Does my dad think I'm dumb because I have an American accent? No, he thinks I'm dumb for different reasons. All right, let's see. I mean, what a stupid question. All right. Okay.
So your mom said there's dinner in like 5 minutes.
Okay. It's Ravon, not Ravang. Maybe. Okay. See? There it is. Filthy mother, filthy father on stream. Okay.
So we both lost.
My mother is subbed to Shroud, yeah. Filthy's gonna grow up to big streamer one day. Took 6 years to introduce you to your parents. Yeah, it really wasn't clear if you were much in the way of material, were you? Like, you know, you think to yourself, do I really want to just invite some random to meet my parents? And the answer is not really. Is Filthy Dad a better strategist than Filthy? What do you think? Okay. That was so wholesome. You thought we were watching the Great British Baking Show, right?
Aww.
Okay. Oh, that was good. I forgot that line. Quote 134 makes me so happy. I could think of no greater punishment than answering your question in full. Oh man, sometimes I nail it. All right. I did miss your question. Sorry, Fleet. What do you want to fire again? I wanted to ask about her leaving the SI industry for the world of academia. SI industry. I think that stands for service industry. Industry.
No.
I don't know what SI stands for there.
Mm-mm.
It could be service industry.
Oh.
Did you bartended?
Oh right. Okay. Good. because I would feel like
You should tell him that story about that fucking psychologist who you talked to in the bar. Who you talked to him about, like, so you were bartending in Ohio.
yeah.
And then mentioned going to graduate school for psychology and just like
Yeah.
totally
he
fucking
totally
yeah.
shit on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell them that. So there you were,
I don't know.
a young frig,
I don't know why
happily bartending,
That's
making bank by
we haven't.
debating the what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for, chat? I wanted to say boomer, but it's not boomer. The coomers. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. There you were, baiting the coomers by being a woman in an outdoor position. And then you don't know what any of this means, do you?
No.
Okay. The translation is, there you were being a woman and the desperate people interacting with you.
I'm actually just like amazed that you remembered that story. I can't even remember when
You think I
told
don't
you.
listen to you? I mean, that is the only thing I remember that you've ever said thus far.
But it's a random memory I might have shared that you might have. I'm just surprised you remember that one.
Well, you should. I think you should share that. So there you were, teaching. No, you weren't teaching. You were teaching people to drink at a bar.
No, bartending in a way felt like therapy. Like it felt like it. You know, I obviously got my undergrad degree in psychology. I had wanted to go to graduate school for psychology, and it kind of felt, being a bartender sort of felt like it was that stereotypical, like someone comes into a bar and they like want to talk about their life and they're having a bad day, or
You get that a lot though. You get that when you're not bartending, and I never get that.
That's true. I do get that all the time. But
Yeah.
I also kind of like it. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
You react well to that.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was a really shitty thing for this person to
yeah,
do.
he
She
really
basically,
kind of
you encountered I mean, you're happy to tell it, but
No,
you
you
just
go.
don't seem to
It's
be.
fine. Yeah.
She encountered a professor at a local university, and she mentioned that she was interested in going back for a graduate degree. And the guy just basically like fucking poo-pooed the shit out of it. It was kind of like, oh, do you remember exactly what he said? Because you told me, and I just remember being extraordinarily dismissive.
Yeah, he basically said it was very difficult to be successful, to ever get a job, that graduate school was like really hard, and
Oh, that's true though.
I mean
that's not bad
is
advice.
all.
I thought it was
just-
more. I remember it more of a personal thing. That's how he said it, because that might be right. Maybe I owe him an apology.
I don't think it was I didn't take it as a personal attack.
Oh, I took it as a personal attack. I took it
Oh.
as derogative.
Oh.
Oh, no, apparently.
Well,
blew
maybe
out of
that's why
proportion.
you remember it more.
Yeah, exactly. Because I
Yeah.
remember him being a shithead.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 minutes? Okay.
I hope they know I'm not ending my stream to eat dinner.
You're not going to?
No.
Okay. Well, I will
I'm
go.
close to ending my
No,
stream.
I
but
will go. I'll go.
Maybe. All right, let's take a look. What else do we miss? So I'm considering a finance PhD. What's the life of a PhD student? You have to imagine a finance PhD has a better funding than we do. You just have to, right?
Why? Why would it have to have better funding? Because they have more grants? Like,
Well,
what?
I'd imagine a life satisfaction PhD is happier.
I suspect that any PhD student is going to be very difficult. It's stressful. It's time consuming. It's all absorbing. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
PhD programs are just.
What is your life as a PhD student? You're if you're doing any sort of actually challenging curriculum, you're spending at least 12 hours a day fucking studying. Like between classes, studying, and work you're doing for that, you're spending at least 12 hours a day, often more. It's worse early because you get better at handling it later, not because the load slacks off at all or like reduces. And there's a number of serious tests along the way between things like you need to be self-motivated for things like dissertations and masters. You need to be self-motivated for things like studying for comprehensive exams. You need to really want it because it's not an easy task to get there. The rewards are kind of variable. It depends on where you're going. Like I don't know what a finance PhD comes out with and does. So presumably there might be something at the end of that tunnel that's like makes that worthwhile. But you need to either be willing to persevere for on average 4 to 6 years. Like what's an average PhD? 6 about
The
now,
mode
right?
is 7, actually.
Mode is 7. So just assume that you're going to be poor and working your fucking ass off for 7 years. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Did we miss anything?
No?
I think we did. I think we missed some of the positives. That at least if you like what you're doing, it's often some of the most engaging stuff you'll do. You're surrounded by people who are, if not intelligent, certainly educated and engaged, and often intelligent. You're often surrounded by people who care about your outcomes. So you're surrounded by mentors, and mentoring is a really nice thing. You're surrounded by an expert in a field who gives a shit about you and is paid to give a shit about you. And if you do well, you often bond with your mentor quite well. You know, like you're constantly being pushed and expanded upon, which is I think the positive side of that. Some of the stuff I miss about academia is that you constantly feel like you're in a world of interest to some degree.
Mm-hmm. That's what I love about it. And that's what I think about when bartending at times, it felt maybe repetitive, if I'm being honest. Whereas like I feel like I get to job craft a lot more in my career as a teacher, which is really fun for me. So
yeah, I think that's fair. Thank you, Smidsky. Happy New Year's to you as well, man. I feel like the difficulty of grad school depends on the program. I think the difficulty is highly correlated to the value of it. So you can probably find a low difficulty grad school if you want. What's the difference between a finance PhD and a math PhD? What's the difference between finance and math, dude? Like, I mean, like,
asking the wrong people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Quote 114 is absolutely accurate. Problem with it is it always tastes worse than whiskey. Anyways, let's see. Dropped out of PhD in robotics. It's really tough. Yep. Yeah. I do think like there's too much fucking stigma attached to just dropping out of something, right? Like in the sense that it's a huge, we have a friend who went through a big portion of the graduate school process and left after a couple of years. And I mean, I left after a couple of years too. I left after 4. Mm-hmm. I left after 4 years for my PhD for that, which is that I don't, and I guess now I feel like super self-conscious that I'm saying there's no stigma attached to it as I justify something that happened to me. But in general, I still argue that, right? Which is if you're going to go into something like this, be open to the idea that you don't want to be there. It isn't necessarily failing to walk away from something because you go, this isn't a good fit for me. So be open to that idea if you go into that. You know, decide, you know, like, yeah, this sucks now, but I want this and this is important to me. Or go from, you know, hey, this sucks now, but I don't really care about this outcome. I wanted the prestige or the whatever else. And really 7 years of this is fucking insane. What is some advice for the partner of a PhD student? Girlfriend is a theoretical physics PhD. Whew, that's good.
Okay.
Good luck. See you later.
I'll see you in a little bit.
You'll appease my parents by eating your meal and my meal?
I will. Okay. Yes. All right. Well, do you want me to? You don't. You're just gonna hold your dinner.
No. Yeah. I'll eat it later. Just let them know I'll eat it later. It's fine.
Well, maybe if you're still on, I'll come back.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Okay.
If I don't come back,
I'll just assume you're
Happy
dead.
New Year, everyone.
If you don't come back, I'll assume you're dead.
Okay.
Okay. All right. What's some advice for the partner of a PhD student?
Does it feel weird when I leave?
Who are you? Okay. I would say be really cognizant of what she's going through in that moment. Not so much as like knowing the day-to-day to don't be fucking intimidated by the fact that your girlfriend's smart. That's an excellent thing. It's great when you're dating a smart woman. And then the second part of this should be don't worry, like not don't worry. Be aware of what she's going through, right? Like her time is going to be super taken and her stress level is going to really reflect what the fuck she's doing in the program at the time, BBQ feet, right? So if she's studying for comprehensive exams or finishing her dissertation, she's going to be really focused, really fucking stressed out and going to have no time for anything else. So be aware of that going into that. That's the type of shit you're going to deal with. See you, Scott. How do I feel about science being put down in the Trump years? It's fucking retarded. I don't think I can say that word anymore. It's fucking dumb as shit. What do I teach? I don't teach anything. PKA soon, maybe. Better to pull the plug early. It's more along the lines of understand that going to it and leaving isn't a failure. Checking it out, like applying, getting accepted, going into the program with the best of intentions and realizing it isn't for you is fine. It's better that than slogging through something forever that you don't want to be in. Filthy wouldn't make a good bartender. I can mix the drinks just fine. Dropping out of comp sci college, probably best thing I could have done in hindsight, looking at others remaining graduated. Yes, exactly. I just think that it's super attached to failure, the idea that you leave something. MF Doomed? I don't know who that is. You're a Chem PhD dropout because you have a 25K stipend and average out of college 22. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. The academia is not a high-paying profession for sure. It's current time in Florida, 6:30 p.m. Friend of yours almost got to a lawyer, then almost got to be a political scientist, finally became the happiest builder and designer of wind sailboats. Yep, exactly. Already had Happy New Year? Well, good. I think Philly would be a good bartender, but a great bounce bartender, the enforcer, and tell people when they're cut off. Oh, thank you, Flea. I think that's meant well. I don't want to be a bartender. I would enjoy the mechanics of mixing a drink, but I don't want to talk to fucking people I don't want to have to talk to. So I think I would be drained by the interpersonal. You already had too much wine, Kex, spelled with an H. Are you complaining that, are you calling me whiny, or are you just typoing? I love really tough teaching and just graduated from college a year ago. You think a part-time grad program is worth it? Because I feel like leaving my job to pursue further education would be a lot. What are you teaching right now, Tim the Enchanter? Like what age group? Kosen Sky sub, thanks. Thank you for not saying the R word. I have to catch myself with these things. This is just like, I'm aging out of like insults and it's awkward. I need like insults to pick up for that. About the difficulty of grad school, your master's for construction management right now, and I don't feel it's been that hard. It's definitely challenging, but it's not like memorizing anything for tests. I'm only halfway through, so it might be fucked. It might be different for different programs. It wasn't, and when I took my program, it wasn't hard, like undoable. It was hard, like I had to put a lot of time in to stay abreast of it. And that's fine. You're going to grad school to become a fucking expert at something. You need to have some knowledge imparted in you along the way. If you aren't, it's worthless, right? Cheers, BBQ feet. Suck it up and hate your life like the rest of it. I don't. It's funny you say that, but I think there's something to be said about there. I do think there is a strategy through life, which is essentially I'll do the work that gets me the money, and then I won't worry. And then the rest of the time that I'm not doing the work to get me the money, I'll be living life from that the enjoyment of living life with the money I got from doing that work. And I think that's a fine strategy. I think it's hard to juggle that. Like, and for me, I just don't do well in that. Sunk cost is a fallacy. You leave when it's the right choice. Don't stay because you just started. Yeah, exactly that. But doubly so with that. The part I want to double down on One Heart, One Mind is that it's not a failure to leave when it's not right for you. If you spend the first 2 years just figuring out whether or not this is something you want to go through and something you want to do, and the end result is no, no is a reasonable answer when you're evaluating that. Happy New Year's, Galibirths. Why is he friggin' my dad? I don't know why, but I'm glad. What does my wife teach? She teaches psychology. She's a university professor for psychology. Teaches social psychology in IO, which is industrial organizational psychology. Proximity voice among us. That's interesting. How about some old-fashioned insults? I challenge you to find an old-fashioned insult that isn't based on intellectual capability or sexuality. I challenge you to find one. Smooth brain. That's an intellectual insult, right? You're suggesting that what are they called? Striations? The folds of the brain didn't happen with someone. It's a cute insult. It's definitely that type. Yeah, Fleet, maybe that would work then. You taught and coached pretty much every age from 5 to master's students when you're an undergrad. I really enjoyed the little bit of teaching I got in college, but to be honest, I just love teaching. Shit, you asked, I can't remember the previous portion of that, Tim. Can I find it by clicking on it? Can I see yeah, I can see messages by clicking. Okay. I think a part-time grad program is worth it. I do. It depends who you're teaching, Tim, right? I don't think you need a part-time. I guess it goes like this, right? So I think there's probably 2 things you're going to get. Either way in graduate school, you're going to get one. You're going to get these things. You're going to get a deeper understanding of something. Now, you could get a deeper understanding of teaching to be good at teaching something, which I think would be valuable. Valuable in terms of, you want to impart knowledge to your students. Your students are there learning from you. So getting a deeper understanding of teaching as a profession is something that could be useful. And do I think graduate school will do that? Yes, I do. And then there's like getting a deeper understanding of the subject matter you're working with. And I think that's going to be more important if you're teaching like higher level classes, right? You're teaching preschoolers or kindergartners or something. Like, it's not that important that you have a super deep understanding of the subject material you're teaching, because you're not teaching at a deep level. You're teaching the basics of something. teaching a college level course about something, you damn well better be interested in it and have some knowledge of it, or your teacher's going to suffer for that. So I think it depends is the answer. See ya, Hoya. Proximity was the program that's talking game without any muting, but it's based on distance. Cool. I don't know if I'm playing anything soon. Maybe. What is industrial organizational psychology? Google it. It's basically psychology in corporations, maybe. It's a way to look at it. It's a lot of things like connections between, for example, personality traits and like outcomes in work. Things like any of the kind of exams you take when you apply for a job, things that are looking at personality inventories or this type of shit. Like cognitive tests will be covered in that. So you want to give or understand the results of these types of things. It's all that kind of shit. Which game am I looking forward to playing first in the new year? I'm playing Urtuk first. What whiskey am I drinking? This is a gin and tonic. Why not go eat with my family? Chat. Family is greater than chat. No. Because the selling point of coming down here for this length of time was that I would be streaming while also being down here. And one of the important things in life with your parents and everybody else is enforcing the boundaries that are important to you. And my stream time is important to me. This is what I do for a living. And this time was negotiated ahead of time. So I'm glad I have dinner. I'm looking forward to eating it. It's sweet that she made it for me, but I'm not just going to end the stream at the moment of that. I'm doing a New Year's stream right now. I've got all of you guys to think about as well. Prefer grad school to undergrad? Me too. I don't have to take a bunch of bullshit classes that all this stuff is interesting. I'd take a bit of bullshit classes in my graduate too. But as a whole, I preferred graduate for sure. Chat is most important. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of my priorities, not their priorities or your priorities. I think it's getting to the time we should wrap this up. Maybe. Thought about big evil companies selling our informations. No one's excited about that. Is Urtuk really the best game of 2020? Best game I played of 2020. It's pretty close. The top 5 were probably all very close. Urtuk was great. The BattleTech was great. The Battle Brothers expansion was phenomenal. Solasta was amazing. What was number 4? Let me just take a quick look. I immediately forgot. Number 4 was Hades, or 3 rather was Hades, and Hades was incredible. A lot of really good games in 2020. Surprisingly, because it wasn't like a lot of playtime in these games in 2020, but there were a fair number of really good games. It's my most memorable New Year's Eve experience. Shit, I don't know. I think I went down to visit my brother at college one year and had a lot of fun on New Year's. Happy New Year's to you as well, Aqua. I'm glad that you're able to stay up this late now and celebrate with us. Want to get another Frigg stream? So my general thought with Frigg is this, right? Which is that she is a entity with her own life and own I see chat just processing that. Sorry, Novo. Cracked me up a little bit. It works like this for me, right? Like her job is not streaming. She has a job and a life. And I like her I like it when she gets to be a part of the stream from time to time. But it needs to be on her time, not my time. So from my perspective, it's when she wants to and has the time. And she promised to do the New Year's stream. I'm glad she showed up. Okay. All right, chat, how we doing? We have any more AMA stuff? This is good timing. I know I have a pretty big EU group watching me, so I'm glad we managed to make it to you guys' new year. Frick mentions travel after COVID, any target destinations. That's such a TBD, right? So there's we don't know when the COVID restrictions will relax and what that actually looks like. So we don't know where we can go and what travel will be safe. And then B, it's a matter of finances too. What are we going to be doing this coming years? Where will we end up, etc. Are kids on the horizon? I have no plans for children. Come visit us, hack half your mods. I want to. I was super excited about the Netherlands TwitchCon. I really hope I get to do something like that soon, because I found when I booked it, I was looking forward to it. All right, chat. Are we close? Do we have further questions, further thoughts? Anything anyone want to share? This is an AMA. I'm pleasantly buzzed. I'm baiting my mother by staying here longer. What am I most thankful for? Man, COVID has been such a bitch this year for so many different people. I'm fairly thankful that my profession has mostly, my wife's and my profession and income has been mostly unaffected by COVID. So I'm pretty happy to be surviving this. I wander into a magical forest and meet a man in a man-sized jar. He asks you to please let him out. Do I do it? Is he naked? Any other questions? How do I stay so handsome? It's a diet of whiskey and chat. The two things combined make anyone live forever. Getting fiber, right? Is he attractive? Also a good question. How does it make you feel that I came here as a 17-year-old and you're 24 now? It makes me feel 7 years older, Aqua. Do I have books that changed you or your worldview? Or in general, good books? I have a, yeah, I have to think that everything you deal with shapes you in some way or another. I have a Goodreads. My Goodreads is almost all fiction, but I do think they are still shaping. Thank you, Salmarillion. You too. Age. Yeah, Aqua. It's weird. It's a little weird. It's weird that I've been doing this so long. And it's weird I've been doing this so long at roughly the same size. Like a part of me is never quite sure if I'm succeeding or failing doing this. It's one thing you passed on this year that you troubled. One thing I passed on this year that you had trouble deciding. Right when, I don't know, there was a couple related to COVID again, right? When COVID first came out, my wife was hitting us pretty hard. Like my wife was scheduled to travel and it was like right in the early March time. So we weren't quite sure what we were doing for that. Passed on this year. I never quite know. I maintain a level of my preference, both for things like stream timing, stream content, etc. I always am debating if that level is the right level or not. Because essentially, if I give you guys exactly what you want all the time, I'm a more successful streamer. But I lose my sanity. So to maintain my sanity, which seems to be a higher toll than many streamers, I do certain things. And the question is that valuable in my profession to do that? The man is fully clothed. He looks a bit like a substitute teacher. Can I talk to him? Do I like living in Wisconsin? I don't live in Wisconsin anymore. I like the Wisconsin people. I'm glad to be out of Oshkosh. Do I play chess? I don't anymore. I used to. Would I play it on stream? Probably not. Ever read anything by Ayn Rand? I don't think so. Although I've read some fiction that apparently uses a lot of isn't Good Kind stuff all like Ayn Rand philosophy? I'm not entirely certain. How do you figure out so much about the games you play? Is it like trial and error? Do you source code? It's Google. I get interested and I look into it. If you can pay your bills and enjoy your life, you're succeeding. It's a nice sentiment. I'm not sure that I believe that. A lot of conventional measures of success are hidden curse. Don't disagree with that either. But I do think it's not as quite cut and dry of that. I think the best decision I've made this year is domain specific. There's lots of good decisions. Do I like being a variety streamer? Do you prefer specializing a bit more as a trade-off? I like playing games that interest me, Veteran Vandal. That's the trade-off right there. So I'm happy to be a single game streamer when I find a game that's really good and really holds my interest and I can play a lot. And I'm less happy to be a variety streamer when I can't find a fucking game to play. How important is my sanity really? Yeah, right? Yes, he's a Rand fanboy. So I enjoyed that writing, but I didn't enjoy the philosophy of it necessarily. I enjoyed the emotional turmoil of the characters is what drew me to those books. He sounds slightly muffled in the jar, isn't soundproofed. I'll chat with him for a bit. See what he said. Get my my insight rolls. Where am I at now? I'm at my parents' place in Florida. Thank you, Ikaika. Thanks for the sub. Doing an ISP tech support tier list for YouTube. I will be meeting with one of my one of the technicians who who came to my house at one point, QED, for some drinks. when I get back into Iowa. We're doing socially distanced drinks when I get home. Probably ought to switch from Civ 5 to chatting. Okay. I think you, Tim the Enchanter. I like the variety element of trying different things for sure. When am I going to visit Texas and make you all drink? Fuck, I would love to do that, Fleet. When I can travel again, I will go to places for sure. I've been to Austin. That's the only place in Texas I've been. I had a lot of fun there. Any plans to check out MTG again? Not really, but it might happen. Fun way to spend the game day. Cheers, man. Have a good night. 2 buzz to start on Ayn Rand or good kind. Okay. I think you brought it up. No, you didn't bring it up. Someone else brought it up. I don't know. I enjoyed those. I enjoyed those as novels as a kid. Running a bit low on energy. Good night, Bill. What about Dragon Con? Don't know what that is. How long did it take to get things back up from the duration? I was out of power for 3 weeks and out of internet for 7 weeks. And then after the 7 weeks, I had to rent an office. When do I plan to get the vaccine? As soon as it's available to me. Enjoyed my reflection videos on YouTube, my talk and streaming in general. Are there any plans or anything similar in the future? I take those opportunities when they present themselves, and my engagement with YouTube has been really down this year because I haven't had a lot of time this year. And I haven't had a lot of time this year because I've constantly, incessantly been fighting with technical issues, mostly internet related. So COVID, moving during COVID, moving to a location during COVID where I can't fucking stream from, and then getting hit by a state flattening storm has pretty much wiped out all of my fucking free time this year. So the answer is yes. When I have the opportunity to do those again, I'll do them again. I also enjoy them. How would you do a stream if I were to do it to frig alone? Well, I wouldn't need this shirt then, would I? Top 5 YouTube comments video when? We're getting there. I added the Discord YouTube comment element, didn't I? Which is now I share with you guys my favorite YouTube comments of the moment. I had the worst luck this year. I don't believe in luck, Kex. If I believed in luck, I would be annoyed. Any games coming up that you're personally interested in playing? Hendu, I really recommend you check the Filthy Games link. Filthy Games link has everything. The way I find games these days are hype and viewer suggestions. And this year has been amazing. I've had we built the Filthy Games spreadsheet, and I have a team of people from the community volunteering their input about both games to suggest. All of you guys suggest games and then rate those games. So we have, the long answer is games get to my channel via a number of vetting ways, and I mostly like it. I'm always looking to expand that because we seem to be struggling to find good games on channel these days. So having that net as wide as possible is good. Any hopes of D&D happening again on the channel? Yeah, there's chances of that. I got to figure out how that would look. I organized all this shit previously, and since I stopped basically iron fisting the goddamn management of that, it's gone a little bit downhill. Not in terms of the content, just like no one else has put the effort forward to find a DM who really fits the group of people who want to play. I'd love to play with Jorbs and Kevin and Dolphin again. I had a lot of fun with that. And Xylo, if he'd ever play again. I think he's busy. Can't you call the randomness of the world luck without believing individuals have good, bad luck? I think I'd make a distinction between chance and luck. Thank you for the entertainment and effort. I pay whenever I can. It's a weird domain for this, right? Like, I can't survive if no one pays, but I don't think I generally think of people individually as needing to pay one way or the other, right? Like, I don't mind that a big chunk of my viewers are free to pay in all ways, right? My hope is that at some point they get to support the channel in some way, but it's not necessary. I don't know. It's a weird domain like that. I hate asking for money. I hate being in a position where I don't like crowdsourcing my income. So although I am grateful when I am donated at or gifted to, it's always a weird experience to be beholden to that. I like sponsored content because sponsored content is a business arrangement. I don't know. Kind of both ways on that. I checked out Path of Exile. Yeah, played Path of Exile. It's fun. Thank you, Nonsense, for the Prime sub. Free Prime sub, use it, noobs. Thank you, Nobu. Is Rogue Tech anywhere on the horizon? Man, I'm scared of streaming Rogue Tech again, One Heart, One Mind. I had fun with that game. I would love to check an update. I mean, it made my 3rd or 4th most highest ranked game of this year, right? Because it was so fucking good. But I tanked my viewer count for that. And the way that this profession works, your average concurrent viewers is the only demographic that matters by and large, right? So maybe with the exception being sub count, right? But like essentially average concurrent viewers is a pretty good indicator of everything else. So streaming a game that tanks your viewership is pretty much suicide. And I streamed that for like 3 months because I was like, fuck that, this is a great game. So I don't know. Yeah, Fleet, I drank too much this year too. Although I don't know that I want to change that so much as I just want to, I want to be more conscious of that. Success is a thing you get to define for yourself, right? Obviously, outside a test or something where someone tried to do it for you, to talk to someone who's less successful than you and they wish you were in their place. And again, you're looking at someone to say, why can't I have this? I believe no one is truly top. Yeah, you're probably right. But I mean, I guess then I would say, like, when you evaluate that, what tools are you using to evaluate it? And then from that perspective. Hey, did I lose weight? I look skinny since I'm last here. I think that's mostly a compliment, but no, I've done what I don't want to do, which is a COVID thing, right? Which is I've lost access to my gym and lost access to a lot of the things I do physically and haven't found good alternatives. So I may or may not have lost weight, but I've dumped muscle mass, which I don't particularly like to do. So I think that's a compliment, but I guess my response would be, yeah, kind of maybe, but that's not really where I want to be. I would like to go back to doing what I was doing, and I will when I can. So I miss my upper body, like climbing stuff. I had my fucking bike stolen, so I missed my bike riding. We'll get there. With VTOLs no longer ruining everything, I think One Heart, One Mind, if I had to really evaluate my viewers' interest in that game, I'd say it was based on a couple things. And I think one of the things is I have a lot higher tolerance for mech bay than most people. It's one of the things I actually like in Raid Shadow Legends as well, is that same type of thing where you're juggling super limited resources to try to make things fit. I mean, it's the same fucking thing. Raid Shadow Legends is essentially mech bay. Just gonna put that out there. Any plans on coming back to PKA soon? This is such a weird question. I mean, I sometimes have fun in PKA and sometimes don't, and often enjoy the experience, but it's so isolated, right? Like, I talk to these people briefly on that chat, and sometimes it goes well and sometimes not. But whether or not I'm on there is entirely dependent on whether or not they invite me in my times lineup. So asking me assumes that I've been asked and that I've been putting it off. Sure, at some point I will. How's family? All good? Yeah. Everyone's doing all right. Parents are both retired now. Brother's doing well. 8-hour mech bay streams are great. I don't disagree. What's mech bay? Mech bay is where you min-max giant fighting robots for not sexual gratification per se, but whatever the next level is. Time for some games? No more games tonight. Calling you out just at you next time? I missed the reference, Nobu. A reference to what? Sorry. Think you're a noob? Oh, no problem, man. Mech bay is the incremental advancement of really complex systems, right? So you go, okay, I've got a system. My system is 55 tons of mech running heat dissipation, heat generation, damage, mobility, and armor. And then you get a new component every time you finish a mission. And it's like, when and how do you fit that new component in to incrementally upgrade your team? And when and how do you dump your existing fully built out mechs to throw in your new mech that you're trying to integrate? It's actually, the more I think about it, the more it's like exactly like fucking Raid Shadow Legends for that. But I love that. It's you have limited resources time, limited resources money, limited resources modules, limited resources, all your mech requirements, and you're building that into a slightly better and better thing. I have a lot of enjoyment on that. Way beyond New Year's US. Yep. $95% of it is mech bay. Yeah, The game, it's just like fucking Raid Shadow Legends, Kex. The game is not like, I think people think that BattleTech, the game is you fight missions on a map. The game isn't you fight missions on a map. The game is you build mechs in a mech bay. The fighting missions is like the equivalent of like pressing like demonstrate or something like that, right? That is the game. The game is resource management with min-maxing. See you later, Sloppy Poet. Did I play Among Us with any streamers? No, I tried to set up with Arvius and Jorbs and never quite got it going. I played with some of my moderators and viewers. Do I know when my next stream is? Tomorrow. I go back to Iowa on Monday. Terra Invicta, don't know that. Yeah. Yep, exactly, Fleet. All theory crafting and crafting. And then every time you play a mission, when you're playing the mission, it's essentially like proof of concept more than it is something different. You miss OG Long War days. Aqua, I'm not against you missing something you enjoy. Don't get me wrong, but I want to be, I want you to be careful with creating a nostalgia for something that maybe wasn't as great as you remember or isn't that different than what you're experiencing now. What's in store for tomorrow? We're playing Urtuk the Desolation. As long as one does not masturbate towards Mech Day, I think all is well. You can do what you want with Mech Bay. What you do in Mech Bay or on Mech Bay stays in Mech Bay. Urtuk #1 game of the year? Yep. Yep. Looking forward to a playthrough of that. I mean, it was actually, the top 3 was so close, man. It's like when rating these, it's just... Played some great games this year. Just haven't had tons and tons of play. Mechs don't stay in Mech Bay. Yeah. I think there's a big thumper mech. I'm sure there is. All right, chat, we're winding down. Getting close. It's dark out. I've had plenty of liquor. You guys, any other questions? I'm at my, I don't know about most vulnerable because I'm here doing this. I'm at my most honest right now. You got other questions for me? Happy New Year's to you as well, Chef Jim. The perk grinding in UI frustrated me in Urtuk. It did frustrate me. I haven't played a perfect game, probably ever, Triple P, and certainly not this year. But I thought Urtuk was probably the best of the games I played this year. And it's tough because we're comparing finished products versus early access versus DLCs versus to be released soon versus whatever the fuck open dev Lucy is. It's really difficult to be fair to the developer and saying, hey, your game is shit because this is release time and you haven't done any of the things you need to do, versus giving the developer a fair amount of leeway to be like, hey, this is early access, you got some time for this yet, but with the way they change these terms around. So it is difficult. It's very difficult to kind of find the fair point of what you're holding it to. You know, this is what pissed me off about Cyberpunk. The game was excellent until you actually played it a little bit, and then you realize none of their fucking bells and whistles matter, and it's really, really annoying. You're on acid. Suggestions for activities? Never done acid. But I assume sensation is what you're looking for in acid. So I would do things that engage sensation. Fireworks here too. Not for us. If you didn't have us, in which chat would you mainly hang out? I don't chat very often, and when I do chat, I almost always chat directly to the streamer. I found it actually challenging. I don't know. I watch streams of games I'm interested in. And occasionally I watch streamers I like too. Like I watch a lot of Crokies. I watch Arvius. I love watching Arvius. Arvius is a great guy. I'm really looking forward to meeting him in person. That's going to happen soon. I'd like to rebuild my relationship with Jorbs. Not like it's suffered in any way, just we haven't really touched base in a while. And I like Jorbs. It'd be fun to do some D&D again with them. Favorite way to tell someone to fuck off? Depends. I think a lot of the enjoyment of telling someone to fuck off is to see they got your message. So I'm happy to tailor it specifically to them. Am I ever really not honest with you though? Just degrees of that, right? Is Frigg been and gone? Yeah, unless she might return. I could probably drag her back in, but I think we're winding down. If it's most honest times, what was the time you felt closest to quitting streaming? I think Frigg was talking about this earlier. The worst times for me streaming are when I do not have a game that I feel that I enjoy streaming. I don't mind playing a game for like a day or a couple hours, like when I'm checking out a game, but I fucking hate it when I have an 8-hour stream day ahead of me and I don't have a game that I want to play, because it just feels like I either skip work, like I just don't log in, don't stream it, and that feels bad, or I stream it and hate it, and that feels fucking bad, or I stream it and shit on it the entire time, and that feels pretty bad. It's just, I'm happiest when I have content I'm engaged with. I mean, I'm doing this it's a passion project, right? Like it's a passion profession, I guess is how you look at that. I'm doing it because I like gaming. And when I'm playing a game I like, fantastic. When I'm playing a game I'm just stuck playing for extended periods of time because I don't have anything better, those are the worst times, Fleet. And those are the times I definitely think about that. Imagine on Cyberpunk would have been delayed for half a year for sure. I, for example, think you pushing through some available games like a year ago, setting up more or less working method, have new games come in and going through with the well shit. I'm gonna keep doing this right now. I'm looking for shit and go, no question. I don't know, Galibris. The problem with this is that it's better. It's better because we have a wider net, but we still run into these issues where as a variety streamer, like if I just stream League of Legends, it doesn't matter what day, what January versus August looks like. It's just fucking League of Legends. It'll have its ups and its downs, but every day I go to a known entity and play that. A little different. Most disappointing game of 2020, was it Cyberpunk? No. Cyberpunk was a fine game for a short period of time. And then it was a fine game if you're okay playing a game that your decisions didn't matter. My quotes tell a story of brutal honesty towards chat. I'm pleased by that. As a streamer, which do you prefer the most? Playing the games, analyzing the games in depth, or administering the salt? It's a mix, right? The joy of streaming is the exploration with an audience. So I like the interaction of an interesting game. You recommend music is good? Yeah, for sure. One day. I watch music streamers. I see Nobu in there. I try to wave to you guys when I see you guys in streams. Doesn't happen super often, but I do try to. Thoughts on Cyberpunk? Good game, bad game, fun game? It's a fun game for the first 30 hours. And then it's a game where your actions don't matter. So if you don't mind a game where power creep is the be all end all, and you're happy playing a story driven game that has no balance, then Cyberpunk is definitely for you. It's a AAA title and it's fairly well done. It just didn't do balance at all. Happy New Year to you as well, Booster Dramas. Cheers, man. Was the Civ 5 stream today just a troll stream? I kind of answered that, right? I was looking for something to do to distinguish New Year's Day or New Year's Eve from every other stream to make it special. You guys have asked a lot about Civ 5. I felt capable of playing a game of Civ 5 if it was just one. I have no desire to play this game again. And it had amusing thematic elements to it too, right? So I don't think it's a troll stream. I played it seriously and engaged it as much as possible. Tried to be fun with it. I wouldn't want to play it again right now, but I didn't hate it. Do I concede that I'm a type A personality? I don't know if I believe in type A personality as being particularly relevant to anything. Winding down is not even 7 p.m. Eastern? Sure, but I don't normally stream until 7 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes I try into new games but get bored easier. I like Arvius' approach to the games. I don't understand how you... Arvius is a friend of mine. I like Arvius, and I'm invested in Arvius' success. So I have no interest in shit-talking Arvius. So when you say you like Arvius' approach to the game, Arvius' approach to the game is, for me, a very repetitive approach. Arvius likes to play a game, particularly a single-player game, until he has build orders perfect. So like he wants, if it turns out what you have to do is spell A, B, C, D, A in that order, Arvius will play that game until he gets A, B, C, D, A perfectly in that order at the exact time you're supposed to hit that. And he'll do that well. And part of his challenge, part of what he enjoys is doing that real time, doing that without, how to say this, doing that real time and doing that with all the problems that arise from trying to do that. He's like a strategy speedrunner almost, right? That's essentially Arvius's playstyle. He wants to perfect stuff. He's willing to do something again and again and again and again till he perfects it. He restarts from zero, restarts April, restarts March, March, over and over and over again, right? And he's great at that. Super skilled, super innovative when it comes to that. Really good at figuring out how to break a game and break it apart. That's less enjoyable to me. If I want that level of replayability with a game, it almost always has to be multiplayer, because beating AI, like take the Civ game we played today, right? The AI is inherently stupid. It's inherently bad. I get so little satisfaction from beating something like that. And I certainly don't want to beat it 100 times or 1,000 times, right? It doesn't do anything for me. How's my hand? The driving seemed to agitate it a little bit. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not good. The vertical mouse helps. Thank you, Jensen, for 38 months. If you had to literally shit on a game, which one would it be? Which game flushes? Do you recommend young people that inspire to be a streamer like you, that is still possible to get exposure with so many streamers out there? I don't really recommend streaming to pretty much anyone. It's just a number. I'm a successful streamer, but I'm a small streamer. And I'm still like, I think we looked at this at one point. It's like I'm like the 99th point X percentile for streamers. Think about that. That means for every one of me, there's 100 fucking people who failed. I don't think that's a profession I would recommend to someone. It's just not. It just isn't. Again, I'm not even sure if I'm succeeding in this. I've been doing this for years. I like my job, but I don't know if I'm succeeding in it. Ever played Dota? Yep. Consider any other fields for my education. I graduated undergrad with a psychology degree. And after a couple years of working as a individual in the workforce with a psychology undergraduate degree, realized that did not in any way meet the desires of what I wanted from life. In terms of finances, in terms of quality of life, in terms of work, it just didn't even come close. Best paying jobs you can get with an undergraduate psychology degree are essentially dealing with behavioral problems, right? One way or the other. And so for me going back to grad school, I told you, I think I've said this on the channel before, I had like a 3-prong attack for those years of my life. I was applying to graduate school, I applied to the military, and I applied to community colleges. And my thought was, I'm going to do something to change where my life is right now. And it may be graduate school, it may be a community college, or it may end up being the military, just because I'm not going to be in this scenario anymore. You feel like a teacher caught you skipping school when I found you another channel, Nobu? Oh, I thought it was kind of cute to see. Like, I think I introduced you to a couple of streams, right, Nobu? So, anyways, I was pleased to say hi there. It does feel a bit weird because like I'm a viewer in those streams. I'm not a streamer in those streams. Base Hunter Dota song for sure. It's a question you're tired of being asked. When will you play Civ 5 next? Who's my favorite mod? They're like children. You can't have favorites. We do the fun part of Civ AI campaign. Don't do the annoying part. I agree. Don't need to save up 1 million panel points. That's right. Thanks for the Civ 5. My pleasure. Thanks for streaming. Good 2020 closure. Thanks. Is there a hat for Nobu and Cyberpunk? Yep. You really like Civ 5 today? I didn't. I had fun with a very early game and it got extremely boring immediately after. How's the internet connection now? I'm at my parents' place. We had a good start, then we had some shit internet in the middle, and then it was fine the rest of the day. I just stopped stream today and restart, and it cost me 500 concurrent viewer count. So I halved my viewer count by dropping today. It sucks. Like watching me couldn't do what I do? Yep. Not that you couldn't do it, but there's definitely downsides to it. It's the dumbest question you had today, and no, it's not the dumbest question I've had today. The dumbest question I've had today is when a known troll asked me a question that could be an interesting question if he weren't trolling. Because there's no outcome that wins there. It's just dumb. It's just a waste of everyone's time. Mouse reveal. I've showed you the mouse before. Stream as a hobby. It's great. Good. It's my dream mountain to climb. Actually, I like gym climbing more than I like rock climbing, believe it or not. I don't dislike outdoor climbing, but outdoor climbing is a commitment of often a couple days. You know, you go to some place, you camp out there, you climb there, it's fun, but it's like super intensive, and it's all you're doing there. My favorite part about climbing is actually it's the only exercise I've ever enjoyed. Well, not only, I enjoy biking too. It's one of the few exercises I've ever enjoyed that's also really good for me physically. And I like it as a event. It's something I can do with my wife. Doesn't matter our relative physicality, because you go to a climbing gym, you find that for everybody. Doesn't matter if I'm doing slightly better, she's doing slightly better, or this massively different. And it's like a puzzle. I'm climbing a fucking puzzle. It's a very interactive workout, which I like. An awesome streamer. I've been following you for a long time. Not everything is about the number of viewers. Man, thank you for the sentiment, of course. I mean, that is a welcome sentiment to hear. But I run this issue of like, you say that, and I don't know why I would believe that, right? Like, what do you... All right, let's look at it this way. So we live in a capitalist society where the value of one's profession is in part determined by the amount you get paid for it, right? I mean, that's kind of what happens. These, like the super fucking megastars, take like an actor, for example, right? Like the super megastar actors are extremely valuable commodities. They both bring in the kind of pull of like the audience, and then because of that are able to be, you know, whatever else, right? Like I'm saying this poorly. Because they are so good at what they're doing, they are an extremely marketable commodity, right? Twitch has a moment-to-moment count of that you see nonstop as you're streaming. So you get a sense of what your market value is. So you might be able to say, hey, Filthy, I really like your streams and I find you to be a valuable streamer to me. But if you look at that in the context of what what my competition is, or what the market values me at, it isn't true. It's not accurate. So although I appreciate the sentiment, it's a kind sentiment and you mean well, it's really hard for me to internalize that as true. You know, if you were to say, hey, Filthy, like you're my favorite streamer, like that would be very believable to me and that would be very nice for you to say. But it's much harder for me to believe something like you saying, well, it's not the only thing that's important is viewer count. You know why people watch streams? Because they like streams. So when you have a large viewer count, what you're actually seeing is a lot of people endorsing that stream. Matt says, if I just want to stream this mod, I'm helping make show it off, not being a career streamer. How much would it be reasonable to spend on streaming equipment? I mean, you can see my early streams, Matt. You can see the quality difference over time. My early streams were a webcam, which was about $100, and a like just a gaming headset that had a mic in it, which was like $60. You can probably get away with about that, probably about $150, maybe less. And again, I'm not against checking that out someday, man. Did you enjoy PoE? I want to be clear. If you're like, hey, Filthy, like I'm a viewer of your channel and there's something that's up your alley that you might find interesting, we can check that out. Cool. I just want to be clear that no, that's what I want to be clear with. It's just a different thing if it was like sponsored and the rest of it, right? Like it changes the dynamic of that. So I don't mind. Did you enjoy playing PoE 2 when you played it? Have you looked at playing Pathfinder Kingmaker before the sequel comes out? I did enjoy PoE 2, although it got repetitive over time, and I got annoyed with they gave me like half a set of scripting for my characters. It wasn't quite good enough to get my characters to do what they wanted. I haven't played the Pathfinder update, but I haven't been that enticed by it either. Aqua? Was that supposed to be a DM? Favorite slave does not equal favorite mod. Mention the military. Do you have experience with that? It was only a thought. It was about getting out of the situation I was in. I was not content with the situation I was in. This was, when did I graduate college? 2006, 2007? When I graduated my undergrad, I did a year or two of working with an undergrad degree, which I wasn't happy with. I don't think a psychology undergraduate degree opens a lot of doors past the ideas of like opening doors into graduate school. Fun thing about climbing is that you have tons of time to chat while resting for your next boulder. Yep. There's a lot of fun things about climbing. I like watching my wife climb too. Like I enjoy like her engaging with that. What games do you look forward to the most in 2021? I don't think like that. I look forward to any good game that I can get my hands on and enjoy playing. Happy New Year from all the UK people. Cheers. Thank you, Bryn. Thank you, Roke. Disagree. There's just that is just one way of looking at it. I think of TV show The Wire is by far the best TV show out there, but not everyone can get into it. I guess I'm living it. Like I'm not trying to call you wrong here, and you're welcome to disagree on this. I don't think this is factual yes no for this. But again, like I don't know how to say this. Like everything income related for me is based on viewership numbers as a streamer. Everything. So, okay, you say, well, it's not viewership. It's not income related. Okay, sure. So what about my experience? Again, this is from my perspective. It's harder for you as a viewer, right? Especially if it's individual. But let's say, like, again, I'm trying to compare these. You know, like, I guess I struggle to think about that for this. How do I judge success, right? I think we're talking about, you said, you know, I like you as a streamer. You're, you know, some version of that, right? Which essentially, I think you're a good streamer. Well, what makes a good streamer? And if you want to say above and beyond, you like me again, which I'm totally happy if you say like, hey, I really like your stream, Filthy. Cool, great, awesome. Nothing to argue with there. But if you say you're a good streamer, well, what makes a good streamer? Compare good streamers. I struggle with that, seeing that. Because by those demographics, I think I'm like the lowest tier of streamer who can do this full time. I think. North Face movie. Okay. Perfect, Matt. I hope the mod's super successful. I hope it's super fun, man. Again, all I'm ever looking for is a good game. Would it negate the need for a multiplayer if single player was good? No, I think some games are just better multiplayer versus single player games. I don't really think all games are designed to be, all games fit the multiplayer thing well. Especially storytelling games are particularly, like, it's, again, this is my biggest pushback to D&D complaints, right? Which is, it is entirely possible to have both an excellent single player game in terms of mechanics and have a good story with that, right? Those two things are not incompatible. So it feels like that too, right? So there's some games I don't want to play multiplayer. I don't want to play Divinity Original Sin multiplayer. It takes twice as long and doesn't add anything to me, for me. So I don't want to fucking play that multiplayer. I want to play the single player. Can it still be a challenging game mechanic if I play it single player? I fucking hope so. Income, yes, but job satisfaction is some part. Maybe. I mean, you can look at it some ways too, right? Like, think about it this way. Let's say I have like a small amount of job dissatisfaction. Let's say I like my job 90% of the time and 10% of the time I don't, right? Okay. And then let's say I'm another streamer and I have 10 times as many concurrent viewers and therefore probably make 25 times as much as me, right? What is the trade-off? So where is the balance in terms of their mental health for what they do versus what I do before that becomes worthwhile? An artist is an artist even if no one watches his art. You think I'm creating art here? I don't think I'm creating art here. I think I'm an entertainer. And I think I'm an entertainer with a fairly narrow focus. What I'm actually entertaining with is fairly slightly sarcastic play while playing fairly interesting strategy games. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a fucking asshole for having this argument because I don't really want to tell some guy who's like, hey, I really like your stuff. And I'm like, do you like my stuff? Is it that good? I don't want to be that guy particularly, but I want to push back on that idea. you know, if you find a one viewer Andy, and you tell him you really like his stream, it doesn't help him, and it doesn't let him do that, and it isn't really relevant past the fact, you know. Like, I'm not sure how to answer that. I've been doing this for a while now, and this view has been solidifying. That's why I don't recommend this to people too. You hate watching me? Oh, that's fine, Nobu. That's fine. That's totally fine, Nobu. See if I care. Would I play chess? No, I have no intention of playing chess. Don't like highly successful streamers with 2 active chats. Not possible to interact with the streamer. Good streamers also someone who cares about their viewer. With high numbers, it's not possible. You take time to answer us, to make you part of the show. That's for one of the reasons. Yeah, they might be mutually exclusive though. Like, anyways, and I don't know, and I don't know what it costs. Right? If you ask me the question, would I want that? I would respond with the question of what would it cost me to have that. You know, that's why I'm not so fucking playing Civ. It's not like Civ was incredibly successful either, but the idea of being locked to something that I don't want to play anymore just for the viewer satisfaction is totally unpalatable. How do I think these 16-year-old 10K Fortnite streamers end up at your age? Well, the thing about a 16-year-old 10K Fortnite streamer is if he does that well for even a pretty limited duration, he can just fucking retire. So how do I think they end up? How are their parents managing their money? I think when people tell you you're more than your viewer numbers, the practical implication of it is that you have the serious gamer cred to be able to explode when a game with serious gamer cred is important gets big. If mobile game ads or anything to go by, there's potential for a strategy game to get huge again. I hope so, man. I hope that. But it's been a long time of not, you know, of that not happening for me to wonder at the accuracy of that. Again, I like what I do. I wish to be able to continue doing this. I should be able to continue doing this. And I also hope, you know, like I definitely see upticks in viewership for sure when I hit games that are simultaneously in the type of game that I like as well as big games at the moment. But I'm not sure that is the same as being a successful streamer. Do I make enough to live comfortably? And do you enjoy your job? Yeah. Yeah, to both those. Darkest Dungeon comes out, you guarantee I'll be top of the category? Maybe. Here's my nightmare scenario. You ready, Toaster Oven? I like Darkest Dungeon. I like Darkest Dungeon 1. I had a lot of fun with it. Burnt out in that game. Don't want to play anymore, but I had a lot of fun with it. Red Hook has been an excellent company to work with. They've been fun, personal. They've been creating good products, and they're easy to work with as a streamer. Ticks all my fucking boxes, right? I like working with Red Hook. I wish them the utmost of success in their games. What if Darkest Dungeon 2 sucks? Civ 6 sucked. I was in the unenviable position of dealing with the fact that my career in streaming might be this game. And the transition from Civ 5 to Civ 6, I was in a particularly good spot to capitalize on that, right? Either someone's been bombed or a firework went off. We don't know which, presumably the former. But anyways, for Civ 6, right? Like, what do I do with that? Am I going to keep playing that game because I get a lot of viewership for it and the game sucks? I don't want to be there. I don't want to be doing that. Can you afford to keep doing what you're doing? Yeah. What type of game could you find yourself playing nonstop? I played Civ for 1.5 years, roughly. A competitive multiplayer game is the game I could see myself playing for 1.5 years, for extended periods of time. Emblem Fire says, hey, long time no see. Friend got you into EU4. Ah, nice. You watched our playthrough? Cheers. Hope you're doing well, Emblem. We all need a top up. You're not wrong. I'm not a beta tester for Dark Dungeon 2. I haven't been asked, and I probably would say no. Although, I don't know. It would depend what they actually wanted from me. I don't really have time to play a game for a bunch of hours and give feedback on that game and not do that publicly. Is there a side career in game consulting? Don't know. Remember I was excited about Civ 6 at one point? I was super excited about Civ 6. Anyways, I don't want that to mellow anyone's buzz for that. That's not supposed to be negative on that, but it's a weird thing to respond to. You know, I look at this on some level and I'm like, yeah, I'm the fucking fantasy of like I'm the fantasy of a large portion of people's dreams for what they could fucking do in gaming. Hey, what if I could make a living playing games? Sure. Yep. Doing that. But is this where I want to be indefinitely? I don't know. I like what I do. I wish I had more success at that. And I suspect that those are a complicated set of things related to that. What games does Filthy play off stream and for what reasons? Some games aren't very good for streaming. I had trouble streaming Crowfall, both for viewership content, but also it's not a game. Games without perpetual content are kind of rough. So games where there's a lot of build up and then a release and then a lot of build up again before another one, those are a little hard to stream, especially if it's not clear what those releases are, right? So when you're streaming games that don't have a lot of immediate moment to moment action or really complex games, I was always surprised how well Civ did, because the games that do the best are like these half-hour matches, right? Ideally, as a viewer, you can tune into a stream at any point, understand what's happening, get some sort of resolution to that, some sort of engagement with it, and walk away again. If the game takes 4 hours or 8 hours or 10 weeks to play, it's really hard to do that.
Hi.
Hey. How was dinner?
Drink?
Yeah.
Dinner was good.
Yeah?
And then I made lemon bars.
You made lemon bars?
Well, I made lemon bars are in the oven.
I want to show you some comments. Well, let me answer this. Please asking questions. I'm enjoying chatting with chat. I haven't had a chat with chat in a while. All right, let's take a look. Oh, you.
Now you just.
Yeah, I'm okay. Like you can see where I am relative to the camera. You can scoot me over a little bit. Fucking marry her. Lemon bars are the best. I already married her. Can't marry her again. Would I marry you again?
Yeah.
Do you want to be married twice?
You want to do like a vow renewal ceremony?
Yeah, but we should cover all the things we didn't cover in the last one. Fleet asks, my favorite bar is closing tonight. Been open for 25 years. You had to choose better to raise a glass at home or brave the world, toast with friends and coworkers. Fuck. I don't suppose there's any way you could go make an appearance, keep your fucking mask on, and keep some social distancing. Some of the things I struggle with most with COVID is the things I want to do and things that are responsible to do are totally not related. I run this issue where like I'm never sure if I'm doing something because I'm being selfish about it or because I'm being a coward about it. And it's kind of like in the middle of that, right? So yeah, you know, you can't let it cancel your life, but you want to do your best to. I don't want to be fucking responsible for spreading this to anyone. I don't want to be responsible for spreading this to my fucking parents. And I want this shit to go away as soon as humanly possible. And I should do my fucking part to do that. I would be tempted not to go to that, but it really depends on what you could do. Is it a small get together with the people who are part of that? Is it possible you can go there, like cheer some people, but not be close to people? I don't know, man.
I mean, it's pretty obvious what we're doing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really? Because
Well,
if you just tuned into the stream, you maybe think I drove to Florida to hang out with my parents.
If you wouldn't,
I quarantined 2 weeks before coming down here.
right? And we're
Seeing
not going
no
out.
one.
We're not going out. We're
Not going out at all while we're
Yeah.
down here. My parents quarantined 2 weeks. My brother quarantined 2 weeks and then fucking took a test.
Yeah.
And when we all go back, we'll do the exact same on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, because both Iowa and Florida are fucking exploding.
Yeah. Hi, Aqua.
Can't marry her a second time. It's illegal. If I divorce her, I can. We've acquired an Aqua. Dubious acquisition.
Aww.
Isn't that like getting more pregnant? No, I don't have to beat it out of her if that's the case. Let's see. Trade up
I
husband.
also cut my finger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Honest time. If I could just become an astronaut, I'd be one. No questions asked. Shoot me up to Mars. Don't need a ticket back. For a plan to survive, what would you love to be, both of you? I watched some astronauts now. They seem like pretty fucking cool people. I watched a couple of them be interviewed on Joe Rogan's show. A couple hours of talking with them. Seem like fucking awesome people. They seem like such like the quintessential like jack of all trades kind of deal.
We've talked about multiple times that if like we had tickets to Mars, we would totally go. Like we knew we were gonna return. We'd be like,
Did we talk about this? Was I drunk?
No.
Oh, I'm going to Mars?
I said if we had.
Am I a ruler of Mars?
Ugh!
Are Frigg and I on the same wavelength about COVID, or one of you more relaxed about the rules? It's tough to decide how serious to be about it, honestly. it's easier because of our jobs that both her and I can teach from home now. I echo the sentiments I echoed a minute ago. I can, regardless of how essential it is to do this, I can minimize my negative impact on society by following these fucking rules that I can follow from both my job and my personal life. I can do these things. They're unpleasant, they're not fun, but they're not impossible for me to do. And I can do that, and I can do that. And that matters to some degree, right? So when I evaluate any given,
you are more strict than I am, I think.
Because you can't say no to children running up to hug you. We have neighbors who have young children, and the young children love Frigg, and they want to run over and give her a hug every time she sees them. And we can't do that. We can't do that right now. And it's fucking heartbreaking to be like, no, well, I don't say no fuck off, but I do say.
2 children in specifically.
But it is a little heartbreaking.
But you definitely are more strict about it.
Is he drunk now?
You seem like you're on your way.
Good. All right. Yeah, of course you of all people watched Joe Rogan, some idiot earlier. Agreed. Don't know what to complain about that. It's actually funny because I also am. I had doubts going into watching Joe Rogan, but after literally using my fucking brain for a couple fucking episodes and listening to him, I was actually very impressed with him. He's a undervalued interviewer. Does a really good job of drawing people out without being clear that he's doing that. I don't agree with his opinions 100%, but I don't fucking have to. He brings a lot of really interesting, really experienced people on and gives them the platform to tell it as they believe it, and then challenges them and asks them to justify that. I think that's a pretty great platform.
What's the stereotype about Joe Rogan?
I don't know exactly what it is, but it seems to be something along the lines. Nobu hated me for this too for a while. Before she was hate, she told me a minute ago she would only hate watches the stream.
Sad face.
Why sad face?
I don't know.
You can just bludgeon her to death with a bat when you meet her in person. It's fine. No one will even mind. They're Dutch.
All right. So what's the stereotype with Joe Rogan?
We'd have to get chat to. Someone said something a minute ago, but we'd have to get chat to justify exactly. If I talk to the missus and she agrees, especially because people aren't being responsible, right? Isn't it fucking annoying? Like, I hate this because I wish to be those people to some degree, right? I also wish I could go out with my friends and not worry about it and go have like I watched an Arvius stream a couple months ago where he was out on the beach, like having there's around a campfire, just fucking chilling out. It was him, his girlfriend, some other people, like watching the water on a beach with a fire. And it was just beautiful. And I'm like, fuck, I wish to be doing that too. But I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it not because I'm being a selfish prick about it, because I want this shit to end so we can all fucking do this again, myself included. And I just feel like I do not. And again, I have parents. I don't want my fucking parents to get sick from this. I don't want to infect my neighbors from this. It's just stupid. Like, I've lost weight over the year. Have I been eating? I've lost muscle mass is what I've lost. I haven't lost weight. I've maintained weight while losing muscle mass.
You have
what a
lost
joy!
weight.
What a joy!
But I've still been feeding you, so I know you've been eating.
He's often a shill for things that enrich him. Is he? I don't find him to be a shill for things that enrich him.
All right, that's a new word. I don't know what a shill is.
Someone's selling out for money.
Oh. You always have to be like the person that tells me.
It's not an internet word.
It's not?
No.
Oh.
You disagree because of shit he said? Sure. I guess I'm willing to. I'm not a fucking. I gotta be careful because I will end up in this position where people offer criticism I don't agree in, and I will end up like defending something that I don't actually wish to defend. I wish to particularly push back against the exact criticism without defending anything beyond that, which is my experience with his podcast has been he does his absolute best to provide a location in a highly watched, extremely mainstream position where it's not regulated to 2-second fucking video clips and people can come on and say their bit. And he brings the most educated, most fucking talented people he can onto this platform and gives them a platform and says, tell it to me as you want to tell it to me. And I think that's extremely positive.
But all people, all kinds of people?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you like him for being like he likes to. That
I like
he
his
will
content.
represent-
His
okay.
content is incredible.
Okay.
He's done something that I don't know that we've seen from anyone else yet.
Yeah.
Like with that degree of reach, that degree of interest, and that diverse of a number of people on his channel.
Yeah.
Do I agree with everything Joe says? No, fuck no.
No, and you don't watch every single one of his.
No, I
Of his-
pick
Right.
my favorite Joe Rogan episodes are always the ones where he brings on experts.
Yeah.
And my favorite ones of those are the ones that are either relevant to me, particularly charismatic experts, or the people who can explain their shit well. It's like the fucking pinnacle of science. I get some Harvard fucking scientist on there talking to me about his life research with a passion and an interest and the facts to back it up.
Yeah.
Who can like Joe like fires off some random question asking about that and they get to respond. It's awesome. That's so cool. I get to see the nerdiest of experts strut their fucking stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Nagaloki, for the sub. I don't think Joe Rogan's an idiot. I really don't. He says that nonstop about himself, but that man is extremely successful. That man is an excellent interviewer, although it takes you a while to figure it out. It's not my interview choice. I would not interview that way. He does it in a way that's entirely alien to how I would do it. Though I still get these incredible content productions from him. And you have to at some point go, I can't see it, but I see the outcome. Maybe I'm missing it. Because he's providing this as output. And I challenge any of you to argue that. He's an MMA host, so people assume he's a meathead, sure. You watching with your wife as well? Oh, hello. Good night, Nobu.
Yeah, making it through 2020.
I think there are many misconceptions about Joe Rogan out there caused by old media being afraid of him. Maybe. He's had some fucking weird takes on shit. He's a conspiracy theorist in some ways. I don't agree with everything he says. It doesn't have to be. It's an interesting platform. It's the highest grade.
I gotta go check my lemon bars.
Okay. Can you bring me a drink when you come back?
What do you want?
I don't know. Something that isn't like 98% gin.
Do you want the other half of this? I'm coming.
Maybe whiskey.
You want whiskey?
Yeah, it's not gin. 0% gin in a whiskey. All right. It's the highest grade we've ever climbed. Shit, I think I was doing 512D when I finished. Before, it's been 3 years now since I climbed. I haven't had access to it. Great interviewer for guests that have good depth of knowledge. Yes. And not, I agree. Absolutely. The problem with engaging in an extended conversation where you give people the chance to expand on who they are is that if you run into bad actors, you definitely run the issue of promoting something that's bullshit, QED. Sure. Yep. But I think the risk is worth the cost there, especially when there's like, you know, the next round of guests challenge that shit or this stuff comes up to that. I appreciate that. And he does seem interested in updating his opinions for facts as much as he does. That's the problem. He brings on experts, not the problem. You know who I want to listen to about anything? Experts. You know why you're here on this channel? Because I became an expert on Civilization 5. You understand that's why I have any platform at all. Which is an interesting problem for when I change games all the time, by the way. He's been taking a lot of heat for presenting ambiguous messages about COVID. I think his criticisms are fair. His criticisms go something along the lines of the actions we have taken, or rather the costs of lockdown are extremely expensive, both in terms of finances and in terms of human costs, things like quality of life, things like, you know, suicide, etc. I agree with these things. That is true. The costs of lockdown have been highly problematic. He says, I think the government could have done a better job in promoting activities that would help people. Things like fixing your fucking immune system. I agree. So is that ambiguous messages about COVID? Yeah, and I mean, he goes further with that too, right? Like those things I agree with. If you look at the other message on that, maybe I don't agree. But again, I don't have to fucking agree with the interviewer to enjoy the content he's putting out, right? I don't know. I feel like his stuff is better when you engage with that with a brain. If you engage with that as saying like, I will swallow everything this man puts out, that's a problem. if you engage with this with the idea that everything he says is toxic, it's also a fucking problem. I don't know. I've seen some of the most interesting podcasts I've ever seen on that show. I'm thinking right now, like one of the ones that sticks out is Matthew Walker's stuff on sleep. That's fascinating. That is directly, positively improved my life. And I'd never have found it without that medium. I certainly never would have got that level of in-depth knowledge from there. That's really interesting to me. What happened to my arm? It's just repetitive stress stuff. Too much mouse movement makes my fucking wrist hurt. You ever seen the Bro Jogan video on YouTube? 2 minutes long, kind of summarizes the whole Joe Rogan cult thing. No, I haven't.
I'll have to watch it though.
It's probably funny. 26 minutes into your New Year. Cheers. We deleted the Y-ski command. I don't remember it. Most frustrating thing about living in a pandemic, you work in a hospital, and almost a year of watching people on your commute not giving a flying fuck and having a great time, a mixture of envy, sympathy, and frustration. Yeah. Yes, that summarizes it a lot for me, Galbris. Is that I also but it's one more. You say envy, sympathy, and frustration. I think I have anger in there too. You know, I am angry that someone else is getting to enjoy these things because they are violating the norms or the prohibition against doing that, and that negatively impacts us all. And I'm pissed off about that. Like, I'm doing my fucking part, and it sucks, and I don't want to be doing my part, but I'm doing it. They ought to be at least held to that as well. That sucks. Did I watch the Brian Cox physicist Rogan interview? That doesn't ring a bell. I may have seen it, but I don't remember it. Enjoying my nuance when it comes to explaining your sport appreciation, Rogan. I wish nuance was something that came across well digitally. But I feel like if you talk about nuance, long form podcast is one of the best ways to get nuance in any medium, right? Because like I don't know how many hours of Rogan I've watched now, but if he brings an interesting interviewee on and talks to them for 3.5 hours, and I watch a couple of those a week, maybe I get 10 hours of Rogan in a week, maybe, and 10 hours of his interesting interviewees. And then I get to make a judgment on Rogan after, I don't know how many months of watching that, right? So how many hours do I have when I'm actually evaluating the person? I feel like for once I actually have a fairly good sense of who he presents as and the things he said. So I don't know. I feel like the amount of time and the depth at which to go into it and the push and shove and the back and forth of these interviews really allows for some nuance for once, which often doesn't happen. Strawman's people, I don't, again, like I've seen the trans clips about him, and I agree with some of the takes on that. One of his takes on that is essentially trans athletes are a big problem, and they're a big problem because you can't simultaneously deal with trans as a social construct and deal with trans as a biological construct. There are biological differences between the genders. There's no argument for that. No one seriously argues that. So how do you fucking reconcile that? That's a problem. That is a huge problem. How do you deal with that? You simultaneously want people to be able to choose where they're comfortable, but you also want competitions to be fair based on the biology of the participants. This is why men and women don't compete in these things. I don't think there's anything to say except there's nuance there, and there's a lot of fucking work to figure out how to make something work there. Fleet says, honestly, I started following and still believe it's because you have a higher level of thinking about gaming. Analytically, in order to defeat the game is to defeat your former self, not your talented beings. Thank you, Fleet. What other podcasts do I listen to? Man, I've been struggling with podcasts recently.
What's the one with?
I like Sam Harris sometimes. Like Sam Harris has really fallen off a lot for me. I enjoyed his political debate because I enjoyed listening to someone who was trying to be an honest actor, engage with people. So essentially willing to dive deeply into subjects and attempt to be fair and reasonable to the opposition of that was really interesting to me. But he does a lot of kind of charity stuff, which is fairly good, I feel like, but fairly boring from my perspective. I don't know. I like Destiny stuff. I like Destiny stuff for a very similar reason. If you want to, it's not so much a podcast. That's a streamer and YouTuber. And what I enjoy about that again is that this is a guy who thinks through his shit. When he gets challenged on stuff, maybe not immediately in that moment, but he'll go back and look it up and read about it and try to make an informed opinion about it, and willing to change his opinion when he's fucking wrong. And that shit is important to me, right? Like that seems like just good general practice in life is to do that. Frig, they think you don't believe me when I said this was repetitive stress injury.
I know. I did make a face.
Why did you make a face?
Because there's always the joke about the repetitive motion.
Oh, you think it's a masturbatory
Yeah,
joke?
yeah.
I probably didn't.
I just went there in my head,
Oh, I see.
and I giggled a little bit. The vertical mouse. Do you think the vertical mouse has actually helped with your?
Yes, a lot.
Has
Well,
it?
it's reduced pain massively.
That's good. So just not like 100%. Your wrist still hurts.
Yeah, Zertle, I have a vertical mouse and it has helped immensely. It does. I definitely notice the quality of play goes down a little bit with some things that require a lot of precise mouse movement.
Right. And that's why when I said I don't even know how to use the mouse is because it's a vertical mouse and
Yeah.
I don't use it.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to get used to.
Yeah.
Thought about trying to play poker online. I don't want that. A lot of the things that you need to have to do poker well really do not fit my personality. I hate being punished for playing right. That bothers the fuck out of me. In poker, that's non-stop, right? You bet this, and 55% of the time you win, and 45% of the time you lose. That's still a fuck ton of time you lose. And even if you bet the right amount for that value, so you're still making profit long-term over that, still sucks in that moment 45% of the time when you eat the fucking shit on that one. Happy New Year's to you as well, Triple P. You as well. Brett and Eric Weinstein. Yeah, the problem with them is I don't have enough knowledge to ascertain the ideas they're presenting. So I don't know, PBM. Hormones are the obvious point in that situation. Do you know what he's referencing?
When we're talking about the trans.
Oh. I don't... It's not a matter of obvious. It's a matter of which ideology you're buying for that, right? Is this the idea that... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into it.
No, it's way too...
It's
late. Too many drinks in.
Are you protecting me?
I am protecting.
Personally, I didn't really mind the lockdown. I understand that most people do, probably because I wasn't really affected by it and don't really like social interaction. Again, most of the people need the social interaction. Yeah, but it's like it limits even the things you want to do, right? Even if you don't like a lot of stuff. I mean, maybe you're not partnered, so like for us, like it still limits the things we want to do, even if you want to do things alone, right? Like if we want to travel somewhere or go camping somewhere, or go to a climbing gym, or just these things that aren't social endeavors but still require you be near people. The problem with society is there's a fuck ton of people in them and they're all over the place. You know, like even if you don't like people individually, at least for me, like it still gives me stuck with the fact that I have to deal with that. I listened to the I'm Not So Smart podcast. Who's the host? The podcast, there's so many podcasts out there with so many names. Do you want 100 subs? Quit being a bitch. It's exciting.
That was deleted.
Sam Harris. Oh yeah, I still read it.
Did you?
Yeah, I just read it out loud. What do you mean, did
Oh.
I?
Why?
Because it was amusing to read it out loud.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes the best thing you can do for a troll is to read their fucking idiotic comment out loud and let everyone have a moment to laugh at how stupid it is.
Okay.
You're like, I'm pointing a finger. I'm being like, hey, look at that.
All right.
It's a dumpster fire.
Okay.
Sam Harris always punches left. I don't know what that means. At least for me, the anger comes from the feeling of being so powerless. I can struggle as much as I want, still steering people in public transport for what good it is with their negative impact outweighs my positive tenfold. Thinking about that makes me really angry. Yeah. Yeah, it's stupid that this is I mean, I've been ranting about this since the beginning of COVID this year, right? Which is virology is a known thing. The fact that we politicized it has made it extremely difficult to deal with. Sucks. It's made it worse. Sean Carroll Mindscape podcast. Don't know that one. You're Not So Smart is the podcast. Interesting. Okay. This is AIDS. You don't like talking to people, honestly? Okay. Good luck in your relations. I hope the poor bastard ends up with you as a tolerant individual. Have you ever read any philosophy? Not since college. Not a lot, no. Frig made the sex joke. What a catch. What sex joke? I missed it.
The masturbation.
Oh, I see. That's a sex joke?
Yeah.
Is masturbation sex?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Can't play poker legally online in most of the US. I think you can in some spots. I don't know. I do know some. I follow Jamie Staples from time to time, and he travels to play, which sounds like a pretty sweet life. Kind of. Comparison to 99% of the women. Well, I look at it. For me, the trans argument for athletes comes down to this, right? There's a bell curve, and the bell curve is essentially the distribution of athletic performance in a gender. You go, okay, here's the male distribution. And then you go, here's the female distribution. And you go, holy shit, that overlap is incredible. Males and females are really similar in these things. The differences inside of the genders is often bigger than differences between the genders. Okay. And then you go, what about the top 0.00001%? So you take those two bell curves that you drew, and you look at the extreme far right of that, and you go, who dominates here? How the fuck do you argue that that's reasonable then? Good thing I didn't have a professional poker player for 7 years and got crushed after they made it online restricted. That sucks. Jorbs was a poker player as well, Fleet. The same issue, right? Red Scare is your favorite podcast. It's two vapid New York ladies ragging on liberals as leftists. That's cute. My videos taught you Civ 5. Now you're destroying your friends. Great. Last year, I watched many hours of old Civ 5 content. Can't believe to cope with the lockdown. I'm really glad, man. Very glad. 47. Stupidity is limitless. Yep. See ya. Well, hello there. Have a good night. Do you keep up to date in your research area all your time? No, I don't keep them to date in my research area. My wife keeps me up to date somewhat, but not the same as she is. All right. How are we doing? Isn't a fair competition? Agree, right?
How you doing, babe?
All right, getting close. All right, I think I caught up with chat. Chat, any final thoughts or comments to respond to before we head out for the night? Extended New Year's stream, played some Civilization 5, had some drinks, chatted with my lovely wife and all of y'all. Any thoughts?
Did you finish the Civ 5 game?
No.
No? What happened?
Oh, it wasn't worth finishing. We were to a point where we weren't going to lose. It wasn't versus people, it was versus the computer.
Oh.
They weren't going to beat us from there.
So you lost interest because you knew you were going to win? And just...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of kicking that small child in the head when I know yeah. What?
Random analogy.
Still need a New Year's toast. We can absolutely do a New Year's
Yeah.
toast. Would you ever want to talk to Destiny? Yeah, I would. I really enjoy his content. I'd have to find something that we could talk about because I don't know what in general we talk about, but I do really like his stuff. I'm glad, Ravon. Point is to hear them cry.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. Enjoy my night out. Get loose.
Yeah.
I'm at home. But yeah.
So that was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. Good to see you. I'm gonna go.
You're out of here?
Yeah. All
right. I think I am too. All right, chat. I hope you guys had fun today. I'll be back for an Urtuk playthrough the next couple days. Don't know what time we're starting tomorrow, but we will be streaming tomorrow. Meanwhile, I hope you all have an excellent New Year's. I hope 2021 is a fucking great year for all of y'all. Maybe one day, if this shit gets under control and this pandemic dies down a bit, we manage these vaccinations, maybe we can do a TwitchCon get together at some point. I really like that for the channel. But I'm out of here. So
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Filthy 7, filthy love to you all. Cheers, Fleet.
Cheers.
And cheers, all of y'all. Have a good night, guys. Later.